GoldenEye 007 was released on August 25, 1997 for the Nintendo 64 and was never officially re-released onto any other platforms. GoldenEye is often well regarded as one of the best video games of all time for not only bringing the first-person shooter genre to consoles, but also having a superb single-player campaign as well as a very popular multiplayer mode. Unfortunately, it also, along with many other older games that are deemed to be the best of all time, is considered to be outdated and unplayable in the modern day. So then that brings up the question of, do I think that this game is still a masterpiece, or has time caught up to it and made it an outdated title not worth returning to or experiencing at all? Let's find out. The story of the game follows the events in the movie in which James Bond must take down a Russian crime syndicate headed by a thought-to-be-dead former agent, but with a few added missions to make the game a bit longer as well as give a bit more depth to the plot. When looking past the obvious fact that N64 games and early 3D games in general graphically age like milk, I would say that the graphics for this game actually still look pretty good in all sections but one. The effects are great, from the explosions to the bullets, the textures for all the walls, grounds, and objects in the world look good, and even the weapons look as realistic as you can get for 1997. If you haven't figured out what the one section is yet, it's the character models. They are horrendously outdated, from their hands always being a clenched fist even when shooting or typing, the clothes looking like they were just plastered on, the fact that there is no proper movement animation when they are crouched, but instead the characters literally just slide across the floor, and don't even get me started on their faces. The only other complaint I have is that the game has missions that take place at night and it is impossible to see in them unless you turn up the brightness on your TV, and I do mean your TV because unfortunately there is no in-game option to do so. The gameplay is your classic old-school first-person shooter, but combined with elements of the open-world genre. I say this because although most of the time during missions you will be shooting enemies with your huge and not limited to 2 guns arsenal, you also have to complete objectives that have no real indications on how to do them. So because of this, you then must journey to the many different areas within each mission to figure out how to successfully complete them, but remember to be cautious while doing this because if you fail just one objective, the mission is over. You also have to be careful because the game doesn't have regenerative healing. If you get hit, that life is permanently gone for the rest of the mission, and the only way to get more health is to find a hidden piece of body armor. The controls are pretty stiff to say the least about this game since there is only one joystick, but luckily there are many different control layouts to choose from in the options menu. The different control styles range from being able to move with the control stick, aim with both bumpers, shoot with the Z button, change weapons with the A button, interact with objects with the B button, and look around with either the C buttons or the left D-pad, to moving with either the C buttons or left D-pad, aiming with the Z button, and firing with the A button, while the B button is still used to interact with objects, swapping weapons with the bumpers, and using the control stick to look around. Personally, I play with the settings that have the movement set to the C buttons and left D-pad because it allows me to have full control on where I'm aiming at since I'm using the control stick to do so. There are 2 game modes, the campaign and the multiplayer. To reiterate what I said before about the campaign is that it will have you go through each location from the movie either stealthily in some missions or guns blazing in most others, with a set of objectives to complete in each mission while a seemingly non-stop force of enemies try to stop you. During these missions you'll also acquire a large arsenal of weapons ranging from pistols to assault rifles to rocket launchers or even a laser gun. You'll also be able to use some of Bond's gadgets such as the remote detonated mines and the watch laser. In the multiplayer mode you will go up against 1 to 3 of your friends in a set of mainly deathmatch related game modes such as you only live twice, which means you only have 2 lives and the last one standing wins, the living daylights, which is basically capture the flag, the man with the golden gun, in which you must get the golden gun and get as many kills with it as possible, and finally license to kill, which sets all players to be killed after only 1 hit. You will also have the opportunity to choose what characters you play as, what guns you will be using, what map you'll play on, and even what cheats you want to play with. For the campaign, there are 4 difficulty options: Agent, Secret Agent, 00 Agent, and 007. Agent and Secret Agent are the lower difficulties that give you an easier time in the missions by removing certain objectives from needing to be completed, decreasing the accuracy, health, and damage of the enemies, and having at least 1 piece of body armor hidden in every mission. 00 Agent is the hardest difficulty with the max amount of objectives for every mission, body armor appearing only on certain missions, and the enemies being at their deadliest with pinpoint accuracy and being able to inflict massive damage. 007 difficulty is less a difficulty option, but rather a reward for completing all the missions on 00 Agent. With the 007 difficulty, you can make the game as easy or hard as you want because you are able to control the health, damage, accuracy, and reaction speed for all enemies. For the multiplayer, the difficulty is based on many things. This includes how well you know the maps, your skill, if you can find a better weapon than everyone else, where you spawn in, your enemy's skill and knowledge of the maps, and if you or someone else has chosen to play as Oddjob. Despite the music for this game being compressed down from its original recordings, I think that this game's soundtrack is awesome, and it is still some of my favorite video game music ever. All the tracks are not only fast-paced rock that goes right along with the gameplay, it also has the feel of being operatic, like it was recorded on a huge stage, but then again, knowing Rare, that's probably how they did it. I also like how every music track seems to either have a piece of the James Bond theme integrated into them, or was created from reworking the theme. Some of my favorite tracks would have to include the title theme, Dam, Facility, Silo, Surface, Streets, Depot, and Cradle. So after all that, would I say that this game is past its prime or that it still holds up today? I would say both. Despite being dated in many ways, such as the controls and the graphics, the bottom line is that the game is still fun and that's all that matters. Yes, I do admit that this is coming from a bias of having played the game since I was a kid, but if you get used to this game, you'll find yourself agreeing with me that this game overall is still a masterpiece. So with all that said, I would easily recommend this outdated masterpiece. Thanks for watching.